Last week, we scraped over 1.3 million leads in a single week using a system we built in-house. And now we are on track to do 7 to 10 million leads every single month using this exact system. So if that sounds insane, stick around to the end of this video because I'm going to show you exactly how this system works. How we go from cold scrape to a verified campaign ready list at scale. Let's get into it. One of the reasons this database exists is there is nobody else on the market doing local leads at scale like we are right now. So the other people on the market are Apollo, ZoomInfo, D7 Lead Finder, Outscraper, everything like that for local businesses. And they always charge per lead on what you're getting. And I said to myself, hey, if we were to contact millions and millions of people a month, I would be burning thousands and thousands of dollars. And I just got so tired of hearing, hey, we're just using Apollo. Hey, we can't find local businesses. Like, they're not on LinkedIn. There's all these reasons that you cannot find local businesses. So I said, hey, let's just do it ourselves. It's going to cost us a ton of money. It's going to cost us a ton of cash. But at the end of the day, it's going to be worth it if we're going to save ourselves thousands and thousands of dollars. We will be the biggest local business database ever, and we're able to customize it to our own requirements. So we can tailor the niches, we can tailor the scraping, everything like that. So this is the main dashboard that we have in front of us that I'm going to walk you guys through. And we have about 1.3 million emails as of right now. And what you're going to notice on this is a few stats. First thing is this beautiful globe that is spinning. It basically gives us an indicator of how many leads and emails we have within each day. And the goal is to make sure that this entire world is filled up with colors and beautiful, beautiful emails. The next part of the UI that you're going to notice now is the states. We have 51 states. We now have 23,500 cities covered. The reason that this isn't 30K or 35K plus cities is because we have an AI model on the back end that can basically identify which cities are pulling the best leads, the most amount of leads, and any of the leads or the cities that aren't giving back data, we just remove them from the pool, thus increasing the output of the scraper itself. Next thing you're going to notice is in the top right corner, we have the data for today's emails. We have the data for this week's emails. We just had a reset since we hit a new week. And what you're going to notice on this is we have 34,000 emails, 61,000 today only. And in this week, this will tick up as we start going through the week. And then we'll have a export today's emails button. And this consolidates all of the data that we have today. And I'm going to pull up the data set later on in the video to show you what data points we're currently pulling. So the three-part process that we implement is the scrape, the discovery, and the validator. And most people within this space, what they will do is they will take the scrape, they'll maybe go to Clay, they'll use maybe an Amplify agent or some sort of API that they found. They'll pull the scrape within Clay. They'll then port it to a new table. They'll do the discovery using Clayagent to pull emails, which is fine, but it also costs an absolute ton. And then the final part of the process that they do is they will then validate the lead. The beauty of this setup is that we have all three of them within one flow. Now, with the scraper, we can scrape between 50 to 100 million leads every single month. So that's like the entire US. We could probably start leaking into most of the world, and we'll probably have the whole world done within a couple months. That's just the capacity of the scraper. The next part of the process is then the discovery. So within the discovery, we have an engine that uses a computer science term called latent space. And latent space basically pulls all the data from the site, and it allows us to bypass certain web scraping restrictions. So this in itself can do between 2,000 to 3,000 emails scraped a minute. So it's a lot. It's way faster than Clay. It's better than everything on the market, and the tech behind it is beautiful. It's an absolute beauty looking at the code base. It is quite possibly the fastest on the market right now. Then the third part of the process, we have the validator. So with the validator, we'll take the discovery emails that come through. We'll use data that we have on the back end to give it a grading score. We will then validate it. And then from there, we'll have a confidence score based on how good the email is. And as you can see right now, we're doing about 1,300 emails a minute. So this is way faster than literally anything on the market that you will find right now. And a few other very, very cool features that we have implemented is everything that comes through the validator and discovery, they're all unique leads, everything. We don't allow any duplicates within the system because I speak to many people that send millions and millions of emails a month. They talk about how they're using the exact process that I outlined within Clay. And what basically happens is they have a ton of duplicates when it comes to the data they're getting. So they're spending money on OpenAI, which is not cheap at scale when you're sending millions. And they're just spending the same money again and again on the same exact leads. So this dedupes everything, and it does everything in live time. The other really interesting point we have on this is we have a smart gating system. So what smart gating basically means, if certain parts of the scraper start going past particular thresholds, we'll throttle back the scraping on the prior part of the process. So let's say validator gets up to 3,000, or maybe discovery gets up to 6,000 and the queue gets too high. We will then throttle it down so that all the data that we get every single day is live. Because if we build a queue that is way too large and we start validating leads a month in advance that are like a month old, it just doesn't make any sense because the data isn't great. Now, I was talking about the export today's emails. So the beauty of the export today's emails is if I hit export today's emails, it'll start a download counter in the top right corner for us. And what this will do is it'll start downloading all of the leads and it'll give us a download file. So when I open this download file, you can see some of the data points we have. So the name of the business, the place ID, business ID, the phone, the address, everything like that. The most important part of the process is going to be the emails. So to increase coverage for emails that we're currently getting, we pull 3 emails a business, or as many emails as we can basically. The scraper does up to 7 and we pick the top 3 highest confidence scores. So as you can see here, we had email 1, and then we then have the attributed confidence scores of 0.5 to 0.95. And again, 0.95 is pretty much maximum. We can never confirm 100%. I don't think anybody can. It's pretty impossible unless you already send them an email. As you can see for this email here, we pulled 2 emails. One of them is the info and one of them is the business email from the website. And it has their name on it as well. So as you're gonna notice, doing multiple emails per lead increases the amount of coverage that we're getting per lead. We have a client right now that's generating 3,000 to 5,000 positive responses every single month using purely this data. And the big linchpin that changed from a few hundred a month to a few thousand is the data we're currently getting. Due to the confidence scores, we've been able to increase the lead quality that we're currently giving them. So this is a client that is currently using this data. They've had 700,000 emails and they've created nearly 3,000 opportunities. And this is purely using our data. And it's just it's insane because as soon as we started working together, we were getting better performance out of the emails we were sending from. The leads were responding better. It's just because the data we have is the best data on the market, like by far, bar none. This is a glimpse into what this data can do when honed properly. So the next part of the database is going to be the actual database itself and how we get the leads out and how we filter the leads. When we were building this, one of the most important aspects is to have unique leads. And I will say this again and again and again. We did not want to have duplicate leads. Like I was talking to some high volume senders sending 10 million emails a month. And they were like, yeah, we're just getting a ton of the same leads and we're just wasting money on this. And I'm like, no, this is not ideal. Like we don't want this. So when we built this out, we had this in mind that all the leads had to be unique. So every lead within this database, every email is all unique. And as of right now, all businesses get 1 email and that's it. And it's the highest confidence email that we can attribute to them. So when we're looking into this now, we have the all states filter. So this is purely for the US. And then we have all niches, which is a lot. It's like 800, 900. And then when we come into here, so this is the export option like for ourselves, you can basically see the states that you can export from. So if I was to click purely Alabama, we'd see we have 16,000 leads within Alabama. If I was to go within California, you'll see that we have 164,000 leads within California, which is the beautiful aspect because I work with too many lead gen agencies where they say to me, hey, I want to hit all the construction contractors within California, but we don't know how many leads are within that space. So we have to tailor volume and we don't have much visibility, everything of the sorts. So from there, we then go from California, which is a state, into the cities. So when we break into the cities here, you can then select any specific city you want. So this has 0 leads, but if we start selecting a few, etc., it goes out. So we're at 1,200 now. So if you want to do city-specific targeting, this is the way, because we now have visibility into how many leads we have per city as well. And this was really good. I ran campaigns before where we were generating insane responses using Clay. We were scraping specific leads within a city because of how far away the prospect was. So simple things like this can supercharge your email campaign. You just have to do it right. So now when it comes to the niches, our goal is to have every single local business for every single niche. And this means we will have entire databases and we will never run out of leads. So if we were to go into, let's say, accountants, we have 3,000 leads that match accountants right now. And then if we were to add on accounting firms, we have 10,000 leads. And from here, we then have a smart AI system. So I was speaking about this before, but alongside the smart tracking system that we have for high volume niches and also high volume cities, we then have an AI model on the back end of that constructs the queries in a certain way for the Google Maps scrape. So instead of saying, hey, I want all the restaurants within the US, you break it down into, I want all the delis in the US. I want all of the sushi bars within the US. And it breaks it down to be more granular and to be more specific. So important things like this is how we're increasing the amount of leads we're getting per niche. And then finally, one of the most important things in this whole thing is how we actually export the emails, because at the end of the day, that is what matters. So we have 3 tiers, which is deliverable, usable, and verified. So you're going to notice the number changes. With deliverable, you'll see we have 1,050,000. For usable, it then drops down because we're starting to get down the quality funnel. We have 750,000. And for verified, we then have 650,000. So simple things like this, which give us the simple ability to include and exclude certain confidence scores, is really important for us, because then again, we can get data back on the best emails that we can then flag. And then finally, one of the most important parts of this entire process is going to be the enriched after and the enriched before. So we can set specific days of, let's say, everything after the 25th, and everything before the 27th, and it will hone in on specific email scraped on the 26th. And this then gives us like day-to-day filtering, because let's say you miss a day, maybe it's over the weekend. You want to export all of the emails that came in over the weekend, you can just do it here, export it all within one file, and you don't have to look back. It's a beautiful dating system that allows us to then export the perfect amount of leads. Now, next on the radar is the on-demand scraping. So when it comes to on-demand, this was made for specific clients because they wanted to hit specific niches that we're not mass scraping right now. So the way we've designed the system is, imagine train tracks. We have 2 parallel lines going up in the same direction. So the dashboard scraping here is one line of the train tracks, and all of these stats are purely just for the dashboard scraping. Now, if you include on-demand scraping, that is another line of the train tracks, and that then gives us more data, more visibility, and it doubles our output. We kept it separate because architecturally, it's just much easier to keep the 2 lines separate. It's kind of like how train tracks try not to cross over. Very simple stuff like that. Well, that would lead to a crash train. So yeah, maybe don't do that. But long story short, it's on demand. You can see here we have a few scrapes in here because we do have clients on right now that are using this because they're doing mass market targeting as well. So they put in CNC shops, flooring, parking lot stripping, etc. And you'll see that we're scraping leads for every single niche that they put in right now. And then from there, if you leave the city and the state empty, you can scrape the entire US. But if you want to specify a specific city, you can obviously put, this says Arizona. No, I spelled Arizona wrong. So Arizona, and then you could put in Phoenix here maybe. And you can scrape all of the construction contractors within Arizona, and then you then get that specific list. So when it comes to how we filter this, because this entire system is optimized for scale. Everything we've done is to optimize for efficiency. It's not easy to scrape this amount of leads at this scale and keep it architecturally easy. So when we split it up into the 2 train tracks, this second train track with the on-demand has checking systems. So you're going to notice some of these have the existing tag. And what existing basically means is we've already scraped some of the leads within the dashboard scraping database. And that means that we don't re-scrape what's already been scraped, because then we would just be scraping duplicates and wasting time, which is the most important thing in this. And you're going to notice we have completed, we have processing, and we have available. And then from there, we then have deliverable, usable, and verified. We have multiple different segments of how we filter everything, and everything is optimized for speed, for efficiency, and for scale. That's the only thing we care about. Simple changes like this is what separate the low volume senders to the high volume senders. And when I say low volume, I mean sub 50K sends a day, and the high volume senders, which is over 100K emails plus a day. Because I don't know about you, but I'm so used to working with clients with tiny market. The way it usually pans out is I would spend the first week looking for leads, and I would get a ton of leads in the first week. And then after 2 to 3 weeks of sending, I would be scrambling for leads. I use every playbook I could possibly think of. I use the CAM expansion that I know that works within Clay, and we're still struggling for leads. And simple changes like this is what allow you to send 100K plus emails a day without having to think about other costs. So I'm talking Claygen, I'm talking Apify to scrape Google Maps, I'm talking Outscraper, I'm talking validation costs. It's all baked into this software. And then once you have all of the softwares, you have to integrate that into Clay or any other software that does Google Sheets API integration, and you have to do everything on the back end. The whole idea behind this is to ensure that everything is in one pipeline end to end, and all you have to do is export the emails and plug them into a campaign. That's it. The whole idea behind this product was built for me, which sounds selfish. But I was so tired of paying other vendors so much money every single month, running up my monthly recurring cost, just because I had to send thousands and thousands of emails. And I said to myself, look, if this is built for me and I send tons of emails, there's probably other people on the market that want to try this too. So that's the full system, from initial scrape to validation to enrichment to a campaign ready list. And in the last week alone, that was over 1 million verified leads. And now we're on track to do 5 to 6 million by the end of the month. There is genuinely no ceiling on what this software can do. Now, if you're sending at volume and you want to test this against your current lead scraping methods, there's a booking link in the top link of the description. Book in and we'll walk you through it. If you're not quite at scale yet, watch the video on screen now. It covers the broader lead generation methods that's helped us generate over 30 million leads. See you there. Bye.